I think, in college. So
Her
it's-
term was only supposed to be 1 year. We should have refilled her position last year.
She stayed on. She
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
she-
she's still
she's
there.
in college now?
I don't think so.
Was she a junior?
Okay, great. Good afternoon. I'm going to be calling the Environmental Advisory Committee to order. It's 4 o'clock on Thursday, September 11th. And I'm going to acknowledge that the press and public were duly notified of the meeting in accordance with the Freedom of Information Act. And I'd like to start the meeting with just a moment of silence to remember the lives that were lost on September 11th, 2000. Thank you. Our first order is approval of the previous meeting's minutes. Does anybody have any changes or any discussion that we need to have?
I didn't see anything.
Okay.
Fine.
May I have a motion to approve? If we don't have any discussion, correct? Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the previous meeting's minutes?
I make a motion to approve the previous meeting's minutes.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Perfect. Do we have any citizens' comments?
None.
No, okay. The next order of business was technically the presentation by Mujeres Latinas. They actually really did their presentation last month. Susan Hill-Smith is going to give a brief encapsulation of how her cleanup crew can support the effort. And then I'd like to have a little discussion about the project to see how the committee feels about where we should go with this idea. Susan, do you want to come up and?
Sure. And I just have
Yeah.
some quick things to mention. And I wouldn't be surprised if a representative from Mujeres Latinas shows up. They said.
That'll be
that-
fine, because if we have questions, then we can hopefully direct them to them.
Mainly as leader of Isla Palms Cleanup Crew, I mentioned before, but want to reiterate, we're available to help monitor the bins and make sure that they don't get a lot of trash in them and sort that kind of thing out. And then also, I may have mentioned this before, but we did have multiple, like probably 5 other signs, like the one that we have on our bin at Front Beach that were given to us by a resident who has a sign company, that we could maybe repurpose for this effort and add something that credits Mujeres Latinas. The sign that we currently have has a nice little poem that reminds people to clean up. It's in your packet. And it has the city logo and the Isla Palms Cleanup Crew logo. But I think we could maybe, if I find those, we could add like an additional smaller sign crediting Mujeres Latinas for their, doing the bins and the shelves. We can maybe call them, cleanup stations and then I do think there should be some messaging to encourage the trash not be left either in the buckets or in the toy bin. So
Okay.
that's all I got.
Great. So,
Is there action item on, is this something that we need to make, like, is this, this is obviously something that this committee can.
I wanted to have discussion about if we wanted to basically approve this project and help in any way to support the project. And I know there's probably a lot of questions about it, so I wanted to open it up so that, because last month, the Latinas Mujeres made the presentation and showed us what it looked like, the toy stations look like and everything. So I wanted, and we didn't have any discussion after the presentation last month.
And can you remind me the cost for the bins and all that, that's at no cost to the island, or how is that funded?
I think it's.
They seem to be saying they were gonna make them for the island.
They were gonna make them,
and
yeah.
donate. I mean, I don't think there was supposed to be any cost. And then the signs, even if we had to make have new signs made altogether. I think I could get the same resident who has the sign company to do those for free.
And they were looking at starting the program at Breach Inlet, or they said, or somewhere on the southeast end, once the renourishment is finished. A station at 21st Avenue, 25th, and then possibly another beach access in the 30s, the 30th Street range, 34A, they put a question mark. And that would be, again, for the season, so it would start like Memorial Day and go to Labor Day.
And I would mention too, that's actually a list of my suggestions.
Okay, all right.
But what I left off was 42nd, which would seem like a natural
Okay,
place.
and
That's a good
42nd.
one.
So Laura, I guess I would say procedurally that this presentation was on the agenda, the discussion and deliberation and recommendation isn't on the agenda. You could either, I mean, I think the proper thing to do would be, if you want to give a recommendation on the issue, put it on the next agenda.
Okay,
You can add, you can add agenda items if there were exigent circumstances it couldn't be on there. It is a recommendation at the end of the day. It's not
okay, all right.
and this group would be making a recommendation to council. It wouldn't be
We wouldn't be
if
putting
authorizing it.
forward.
If they had the presentation last time and we're gonna talk about it this time, I mean, I kind of feel like we could
Fudge?
probably.
I mean, it's not an issue that's going to be a
I mean, I
chat.
feel like
At the end of the
let's-
day, it's
yeah,
not a.
Let's
it's
have a
not an
talk
action.
and then see where it goes.
I have a question. The picture that I have shows them out on the beach with the yellow cans. Now, the yellow cans are not going to be there. Where are these bins going to be? Are they going to be behind the dune like the yellow cans? Or are they going to be out on the beach like this picture shows?
Yeah, we need to
We
get,
asked that question, I think we
Yeah.
talked
And
about
I
it last
couldn't
time.
remember
The
the
answer was
answer.
that it would be co-located with the trash
with
cans.
the trash
So
cans.
they wouldn't be visible on the
Right,
beach.
right.
They would be
So
right
we were
behind.
Originally talking about doing something like that with the new trash cans anyway, weren't we? I feel like we had this,
There was
No,
a
not-
conversation
you mean
about building
a toy
like
bin?
discouraging people, like telling people not to leave things behind, but then also, or maybe that was just the one that we have at Front Beach that I'm thinking of.
Yeah, no, we hadn't, not specifically for the new garbage can, correct, not for the corrals. I mean, we have,
I thought
I
that
think
was
it's
part
gonna
of
be signage to,
Potential,
Yeah, I think there will be,
Is this a
to
big-
say, don't leave.
Say, don't
all your-
leave, yeah.
All your stuff here at the beach, this is not a dumping. The corrals will specifically be labeled,
Right.
put your trash in the can, but don't leave all your crap in the corrals.
That's what
But-
it'll say.
You know, I guess I would say.
it's alliterative.
Yeah, along the same lines, I mean, I think the intent of and we talked maybe after the meeting, the intent of the corrals was to, I mean, they're hiding and they're intentionally kind of being designed to hide the cans, make it more kind of natural in appearance. The bins that I think that are in your packet are kind of the opposite of that. They're clearly wanting to be playful and
Visible,
attractive
yeah.
to kids. So
Right.
that, I don't know that we would want it in the corral.
No.
I think you would want it, I guess, away from the corral, maybe
Yes.
nearby. But if it's in the corral, it's
It's gonna
definitely,
get trash.
it's going to be hidden and
Well,
it'll
it's
be,
also gonna get,
and it'll probably get
inadvertently-
trashed.
yeah, no, I don't think they,
that makes sense.
I don't think they had
Want it
intended
in a-
or
in a-
wanted
in our
it, no,
corral.
they wanted it to be a freestanding. So it is visible and attractive to children and to adults to actually utilize, right?
So can I comment on the, this observation? We have a toy bin in the Wild Dunes at the property owner's beach house, that card access parking area. It's been there for as long as I've been here, 4 years. It wasn't here this year because of the renourishment or the erosion. But I did see trash, doggy bags, broken chairs, like lots of things deposited in the toy bin, clearly marked, leave, only toys,
Don't,
please,
yeah.
only toys. Empty, Starbucks cups or whatever. So you saw a little bit of a hodgepodge of adherence. But the bigger concern, somebody, I forget who it was in the prior meeting, raised about the cans on one of the beach accesses where people were going into the dunes because of where the can was located and
That
starting
was
to
at
kind of.
25th.
So they're kind of going around, so the cans have now moved off the beach into the dunes. In some cases, it's street side, in some cases, it's on the path itself. And so what we're starting to see are people are treading around the cans a little bit. And I've observed this at some of the accesses too.
Okay.
So and I watched that toy bin at Wild Dunes last season, and we had a lot of dune shifting. And so the dune was kind of building up, and in fact, the toy box almost got completely buried because of that dune was just like being built up. And so people were traipsing around, and eventually the walkway kind of went around the bin. So it is a little bit of a concern for me, just putting more stuff on the path, given the fact that the trash cans themselves have caused a little bit of a challenge. And that's just with, that one toy bin in that one location. So who's to say that, the location maybe was poorly chosen, or, maybe there's a better option there. But it was a concern I just wanted to raise.
Could we do, I'm wondering if we could do kind of a trial next season, and maybe just pick 2 locations for them to place their bins, utilize the cleanup crew to help with, because the cleanup crew isn't necessarily coming into Wild Dunes. Am I correct about that, Susan?
No,
No.
we're based at Front Beach when we do our
Right.
streets, but as an auxiliary, I will probably just go down and
Yeah.
look.
So-
And I would mention, just changing hats to being a member of the task force that also listed this as a recommendation, the Isle Palms Task Force. We had a very specific discussion, and that recommendation said to place those bins closer to the road.
So they would not necessarily be on the beach.
Right.
They would be,
Near trash can, but closer to the road.
so we could utilize the paths where we have the trash can at the street as well, and put them up by the street.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Like-
I think all the accesses are gonna have one by the street, so,
Like
but the
40
major ones will have both.
42nd, I mean, there's plenty of room on the street side.
Okay.
I like the idea of a trial.
we
The other
do
thing
a
that I
trial?
didn't, that a trial makes sense to me. The other thing that I noticed were things like broken kites and whatever ended up in the box.
Right.
I would argue, just from that one data set, one bin, one season, there was more non-usable toys in the box than there were usable toys. So broken toys, frisbees, chairs, whatever ended up in there. And there was a few toys that ended up in there as well. So we had a problem where it became a dumping station. It was a convenient place to put something that didn't go in the trash can, or,
Right.
naturally fit in the trash can. Because a broken kite, I thought, it was literally like,
you can
it
do with
was
that.
bent and mangled. It was like, it doesn't fly. Why would you put that in the bin? So it's just odd to me that people have trouble following that basic
Well,
instruction.
but they're throwing trash in
Those are major.
recyclable bins too.
Yeah.
I mean, they've always been doing that.
Yeah.
So with these bins, we don't have any in use right now, Susan?
No.
So we-
So all that's in use right now is, I guess I used to have
I
the
think
Wild Dunes
this is what
one
they're
that
talking
we weren't
about.
connected with, but we have this one at Front Beach, which is kind of a different situation because that is already, it's where the restroom building is and the showers, and we have a nice little nook where it's placed on pavement. I will say, we do have to sort through and take out broken toys and junk items and things like that. It's doable though, and if Mujeres Latinas is gonna be trying to monitor for that, and we're monitoring for that, I think that we're probably gonna be okay, but a trial might be.
I'm thinking we might want to make a recommendation then that there be we come up with a trial location for them to give it a go for next year season, and put that on the agenda for next
You
month.
said one trial location?
I think
We-
just
We
one.
had mentioned 2 before.
Well, I
Yeah,
think just one.
I don't know.
I think one. We've got the one at Front Beach already, so let's try something, further in and see how it goes, because we already know that they are already having to clean stuff out, and let's see what would happen with one more and how much, other than the real stuff that's supposed to go in there, what other stuff ends up in there and how much they're having to clean it out.
But maybe not at Breach Inlet, because there are not that many people
No,
down there.
no, I'm
And
thinking
There's no
maybe-
good path except the
Yeah,
parking
maybe
lot.
something around, 21st.
21st or 25th.
25th.
Well, 25th is
Yes.
the area that was brought up with the trash cans, but this is going to be up by the street, right? It's going to be up by the street.
Yeah, that would actually have
Okay.
plenty of space.
So I think 25th might be a really good choice.
And it's the toys and the buckets and the trash buckets?
That's what I was going to ask next. Are we just talking about the toy bins at this point?
Yeah, we're just talking
I
about,
thought
Okay.
it was one unit.
well,
that
it's
it would
one,
hold
yeah,
both.
it's one unit, so it's a
So would you
combination.
not put buckets in these
Yeah.
two? They would just be empty?
So to me, that's another discussion point. The buckets are also a concern. We talked about this, and I think they were talking about having hooks or something to keep them from blowing away.
Yeah.
I'm just not convinced the buckets aren't going to end up on the beach, blowing down the beach. So I'm a little bit concerned about that, just initiative in general. I felt like, and this, I struggled with this since our last meeting, I kind of slept on it and thought about it a lot. So I'm trying to think about how do we solve the problem, but it seems like we're dealing with the symptoms and not the root issue, and that the root issue is that people are leaving trash on the beach, and so we're facilitating picking that trash up. So, talking to people like, how do we keep people to stop leaving trash on the beach? And my silly analogy is I've got a dog and I've got doggy bags, and you can't sling a dead cat, sorry for the expression, without hitting a doggy bag station on the island. It seems like they're everywhere. And so we have bags that are available if you don't have a bag with you. So most people are pretty good about cleaning up after their dogs, not 100% compliance, but we have, in my opinion, pretty good participation. Is there some sort of a human bag, whatever we want to call it, that a dispenser that has these trash bags that could be recyclable material? They could be dispensed at major beach locations. People could take them out there, put their trash in them, taking them off the beach when they leave. Like, is there some other initiative that doesn't take up the space that this doesn't have the, be as likely to get, blown down the beach like a bucket or a barrel would be? Is there some way to solve the problem differently? So I don't know that I have the right answer, but it has been kind of eating at me a little bit.
I kind of see it as two different issues, though.
I do
One-
too.
One is how do you dispose of the trash, and the big things, like, we probably should tell people what to do with lawn chairs and
Right.
kites and things that are big, because they're just trying to stuff them in or just leave them, because they don't know what to do with them.
Right.
They're getting on a plane, they can't take them, they just leave them.
Mhm.
But this is, I think there's an educational component to this and like a real feel-good component. Aside from just where do we put things, it's like, okay, kids, we're not gonna go to Harris Teeter and buy new toys. There's toys that we can reuse.
The toy bin I'm with you on.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the buckets separately. So that's why I think it's two topics. It's one station that has both. It has a toy bin and then it has two buckets for picking up trash. If you could cut it in half,
Yeah.
I could get on board with the toy station. I'm struggling with the bucket stand, bucket tree, bucket whatever. Like, I think that's the part that's concerning me.
Oh, okay. I thought you said the toy bin was duck.
It's all one unit, that's
It's
why.
all one, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to separate it the way it's
This is-
designed.
This is where the buckets
Yeah.
go, and, yeah.
And
Well,
I love the thought too of taking kids out and collecting trash as an activity, or just, this is good for the environment, but if you can keep them from blowing away. But the separate bigger issue is where do you dump all this big stuff?
Yeah. But I think maybe I'm saying the same thing. There's a third issue, which is that people leave trash on the beach, and it's because they're lazy, right? If we made it easier for them to not be lazy, would they be less lazy?
But see, I'd be concerned if we leave something for them to pick up their trash, it's just going to end up down in the water. I mean, there's so many plastic bags, cans, every day, there's all kinds of stuff. And I would just be concerned that if we give them a vehicle, they're not going to utilize that vehicle the way we
Properly.
would envision it to be utilized.
Maybe, but and maybe a trial would prove it out. But I also thought the people that would take the bag are the ones that actually want to bag stuff up. The ones that don't take a bag are opposed to, I like the educational element of teaching people to pick up trash. I think that's good. But I'd like it if there was less trash for them to pick up, right?
conundrum.
Yeah.
Wouldn't we all?
Yeah, I think we did this to ourselves a little bit, for good reason, by moving the cans off the beach, because now it's a little harder to throw your trash away. And some people that were right on the border, like, I'll go 50 steps to throw my trash away, but I'm not going 100 steps. Maybe that's made the problem a little bit worse, but it is what it is.
Is there any, this would have to be a whole different initiative to look into the possibility of having some kind of a larger trash bag dispenser
I don't know of such a thing.
I don't either.
But it would make more.
We don't have to solve it now, I just wanted to put the, you know,
Yeah.
put the.
Well, okay, then let's, at least, should we, how does the committee feel about moving forward with considering a recommendation at least for the trial, for at least one of the combination toy bin / bucket trash pickup?
I think we
Cubes.
should try one.
I'm okay with that.
Me too.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
agree.
All right,
And I think the one you were talking about was potentially 25th.
25th.
I have it in my mind that 25th is one that does have the cans, and the potential corral was slated to be down closer to the beach and not at the road. Is it,
Oh, really?
and I don't have it in front of me now, but
I thought we
Susie,
were
is
going to
it-
have, I thought we were going to have both. We were going to have one,
Okay,
because
maybe there would be-
that's a big, that was a very active.
So maybe it has one at the road and one down closer to the dune. And the
But-
recommendation would be that this would go at the roadside?
At the roadside, yes, yes,
At 25th?
yeah, at 25th.
And on the bigger issues, do we tell people, with bigger items, do we tell people what to do? Like, they're gonna leave a lawn chair or a side. Oh, sorry, if they're gonna leave a chair or styrofoam surfboard or big toys, do we tell them what to do? Like, oh, you should drive to a bigger bin or trash?
The plan is that the corral itself would just say, don't leave it here, not tell you where to put it.
Not tell you where to put it, yeah.
But
So
that seems
that's,
problematic, 'cause if they're gonna go get on an airplane, they've just gotta dump it somewhere. So
Well-
where would we suggest that they put it?
At
Maybe
the
we should-
airport.
What's that?
At the airport.
we can,
It is always amazing to me, they got it there. I
Right.
mean, they got it in
Well,
their car.
they buy it here, they go
They
to
buy it here,
the retail
right,
store
20
X,
bucks,
but they
and
didn't buy
they
two
don't wanna
chairs.
take
They
and use it
still
for the
brought
week.
it.
They got it from the store somewhere down at,
Yeah, no, they bring it
42nd.
here, but they don't want to take it back on the airplane because they can't pack it.
but I mean, they get it to the beach, they should be able to get it off the beach.
But if
It's
they're
kind of
going-
like, it's a
House.
one-way.
I think the
But where do
theory
they
is
put it when
they're
they take
going
it off the
from the
beach?
beach to the
Do they
airport.
put it in the big bins at
They're
Harris
going
Teeter,
back
or
somewhere to take a shower from.
Right, so they could leave it at the house that they rented.
Yeah.
they're dumping
Yeah.
them somewhere?
Yeah.
And that's what most rentals that I go to, I mean, shoot, they almost all have
Yes.
chairs now
They leave
Extra.
them
that
at the house.
people have kindly
Yeah.
left behind.
Yes.
But yeah, you don't.
It's usually the broken chairs. In my opinion, the broken chairs are the problem. It's not the working
Yeah.
chairs. They take those back. The broken ones, they leave on the beach for someone else to
Oh,
use.
you'd be amazed, my
Just
mother
like the
will pick
kite.
up one of those broken chairs.
Yes.
in a heartbeat
well,
and fix it.
one of the matrix items is to have more local promotions with links and QR codes pointing to IOP.net beach rules. So perhaps we could tie this, and it says including tie-ins with the beach shuttle, but this could lean towards a work that we could potentially do about how do we send the message out? How do we get the message out to not only locals, but also all of the visitors that are coming to our beach? That it is a rule, it's a beach rule that you need to dispose of your large, if you have a beach chair or a large beach item, that it's not okay to leave it on the beach as trash. So I think this could tie back into that matrix. So, but we're trying to do the matrices one by one. That wasn't one that we, but I'm just saying, let's look at focusing that particular matrix item on how do we get the message out, and how do we talk to the community and to our visitors about not leaving big trash items on the beach when they come to visit, whether they're local or not.
Yep, maybe we
Okay.
have a sign on some of these bins, because in the absence of that, they just dump it there.
Okay, so let's use and wait for that and use that as a discussion item to come up and brainstorm about ways that, does that work for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to make a recommendation that we look at a trial project for the Mujeres Latinas toy bin and trash bucket stations at one location for next summer, starting in the beginning of the season, so Memorial Day through Labor Day at 25th Avenue.
Roadside of 25th.
Roadside at 25th. by where the new garbage corral is going to be. Okay? All right.
Someone make a motion to that? Is that your
Do we
motion?
need, yeah,
Yeah.
so I'd like to make, would someone like to make a motion that we,
I'll make a motion to do what she just said.
and then I said a second, okay.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. All right. Old business. We're going to get into the recommendations matrix, even though Eric isn't here. I do have one of the matrix items that Susan and I actually have started, and it is the one, I've got to find it on the, oh my gosh, I'm blind, I can't find it. Sorry, wait a minute. Oh, there, okay.
Salt marsh.
No, that we've already started working on that, and that's, I have information in the packet on the meeting I went to. No, it's the very last highlighted, involve the public in South Carolina Aquarium Sea Rise sign project. So, when Susan and I were at the SASME workshop, Sarah McDonald was there, and she is with the South Carolina Aquarium, and she and her coworker Aubrey Anthony are the ones who coordinate and run the Sea Rise sign project. And she talked to me, and then she and Susan Hill Smith and I had a Zoom call with her. And I'm going to include it on our agenda for next month for them to come in and present the project. And I've asked that we have one of our committee members to help with the project. And so we're going to move that on to next month's agenda.
So we'll talk about that initiative and as an agenda, as a new business item next.
It'll be a new business item, yeah. Mhm. I can should I give a quick update on the water quality?
I was gonna, yeah, I
Yeah,
was gonna
okay.
suggest that, that's on the matrix.
So, we got the results. We actually were able to do the 3 outfall water testing yesterday. I went out with Wolpert to the 3 different locations, 36th Avenue, 25th, and Myrtle Avenue. And so the Floridian testing was the first step, and 36th and 25th came back with very high levels of E. coli. Myrtle was below 2 parts per thousand, I think, is how to say that. And so the recommendation from Wolpert is that we move forward with the MST, which is the DNA testing for the water sample from 36th and from 25th. And Douglas and I had a conference call today with James Riddle with Wolpert, and James is going to put that proposal for the MST and the cost, which was part of our total budget that we approved originally, and we're within that budget. And he's going to get that to Douglas early next week, and then we're going to move forward with the MST testing. And we might be able to have that by next month's meeting.
That'd be great.
James is going to check with, Lumen Ultra is the company that does the MST testing, and he's going to check with them to see if we can get it to them in the next week, that by next month, we could have the results.
And they're gonna check for 3 species.
3 species.
Human, dog, deer.
And deer.
I think, right?
Mhm.
So how do we calibrate these results? Like, are they extreme or are they?
He said they were very high, so the numbers were, for 25th, it was 8.05 to the fourth times 10.4. So basically, 80,500 bacteria cells per 100 milliliters of water was found in the water sample at 25th. At 36th, it was 107,500 bacterial cells per 100 milliliters of water.
James told us kind of the normal acceptable baseline, but it's on, and those two were way above it, and
Way
the one
above it.
was way below
And
it.
then
I
the-
don't remember what that number
He
exactly
actually
was,
didn't,
because it
he
was.
didn't give us an actual number, but the Myrtle Avenue was less than 2,000 bacterial cells per 100 milliliters of water. So you go from 2,000 to, and less than 2,000 to 80,500 and 107,500. So he said it's not uncommon to find E. coli, but he said this is much, much higher than would be acceptable levels.
And at what point does it harm the public? I don't, like,
What does it mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's what he's going to, well, that's what ultimately we're gonna, because we're gonna find out if it's human E. coli, or if it's deer E. coli, or if it's dog E. coli, or a combination of those three.
and human is the worst one.
That's the one of concern. So
That's the
so
one of
Other
concern.
Humans.
The
Yes.
first time, that's the one I think we believe we can best control with
Control.
sewer systems. It's not, and I don't know that we talked to him a little bit about kind of using the 25-year-old study from GEL Labs as a baseline and to see if we could see if it's any different data from what it was 20 years ago. But the real key to 20 years ago is it was also high levels of E. coli, but it was 98% animal. So at the end of the day, we just realized that there wasn't a lot that we could do to lower that number. If we sewered the island, we could lower it a bit, but not a substantial amount. So that's what this next step will tell us, is can it, we know it's high, but is it a number that we could effectively lower?
Lower, right?
And that was 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Maybe even more.
It was more than 20
Yeah.
years ago.
So you would think that it would
was in
diminish
2000.
with human because more and more people are getting on the sewer system.
Yeah, I could see it. I would believe either way. You know, systems are older, they're more prone to fail.
But you see a lot more conversions.
Yeah,
too.
there are definitely more sewer systems, public sewer systems, than there were 25 years ago.
Is this report in the packet, or was that a separate email you sent?
We just got it.
We just got it today.
This
Okay.
morning.
I
I think
didn't-
I forwarded.
Okay.
It's-
I
yeah,
just-
it's in
I think
the
I sent
email.
it.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
he did, okay.
Yeah, but we just got it today.
This morning. Yeah, because we did the testing yesterday afternoon at 3:30. Or I should say, we pulled the water samples at 3:30 yesterday afternoon. So that is, we can say that that's still ongoing. Should we go back up to some of the ongoing things to see what,
Oh, I do, I actually have
updates?
I have not much of an update, but I did get an update from the chamber on the packaging. That's the
The-
second one down.
the plastic
Yes.
recommendation? for-
Adjust packaging ordinances to close loopholes and align with neighboring municipalities. We requested that the chamber reach out to their restaurant members and see if their preference was to change the rule to because right now they should not be using plastic straws. And they're handing them out. We kind of know that. So technically, we should be enforcing on that, I think, at this point. The question was, is there an alternate regulation that would be preferable, like only upon request, that you don't get a straw as just a standard thing in your bag, you have to ask for it? So we put that out to the chamber, and we heard back that they got feedback from 7 restaurant owners. It was a very low response. Most folks cited that they did not offer carryout or that they preferred to not have any additional regulations on their business. So not terribly useful feedback.
But I think the issue on that, though, more, well, I mean, first of all, there's a lot more in this rather than just straws. But for the straw thing, I would think the restaurants would be happy to have, I mean, they're gonna save money. Like,
Yeah.
I will tell you, every single time I order a drink, I get a straw, and I'm like, I don't want this. So, ask me. Or if I don't ask for it, don't give me one. And then if I ask for one, you can give me one. Like, to me, that's a pretty easy sell to the restaurants. Like, just tell your bartenders, don't stick a straw in the drink.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if somebody complains and says they want one, then you give them one. But,
There's a national straw shortage, so we don't have the supplies. Make something happen.
I mean, they save money.
Yeah, I get
and,
it.
It saves waste. It
Who
seems
doesn't
like it's a
wanna save
win-win.
money?
Yeah.
Well, and I would think the carrot to that would be and whether it's knowingly or not, because the ordinance does indicate that if it's recyclable, it's okay to give it, but they're not connecting
They're not
the dot that
recycling.
it's not recyclable currently, so, they could kind of declare ignorance to the fact, but we could certainly educate them, hey, these are not recyclable, therefore you got to stop. That would be one course of action. The other course of action would be, we understand the challenge that it creates, because you have to track whether or not the county can recycle it. We could offer to modify and say, okay, we understand the challenges, so to deal with that, we will pivot to a policy that just says, you don't give it out unless it's asked for.
Right, and that, to me, I mean, the whole straw thing got started because of finding so many of these straws floating in the water, and, recyclable doesn't do you a darn bit of good if it's not recycled.
Exactly.
So if it's if it's a recyclable straw and it's floating out in the ocean, it's not getting recycled. So that, to me, the alternative is we go to something much more stringent, such as it has to be paper or natural. I've had bamboo, I've had straws made out of 1,000 different things in the last couple of years. But
And I'm sure those are more expensive.
I'm sure they're a
than
lot more
plastic.
expensive, but I
Yeah.
feel like so that's why I feel like the starting point would just be to try to get the restaurants on board with just don't give it unless they ask for it.
So are you thinking leave the ordinance as is where it's prohibited and just tell them it's prohibited? Don't provide them? It's prohibited unless, or do we create, because right now, if it's not recyclable, it's prohibited.
Yeah, I mean, I was
We
kind of
could
hoping
create
that
an
maybe-
exception that,
I don't know, maybe we should, I kind of feel like maybe we should have somebody from the chamber come and talk to this group about the fact that this is definitely more than just a straw issue. I mean, it's the packaging that they're sending to-go food out with. It's, it's bigger than just straws. But I think
the straw is the loophole
there's,
currently.
it was my understanding there were quite a few,
Cutlery, I
Loopholes.
think might be
Yeah.
another one where other municipalities have gone an extra step now to say cutlery should only be on request.
On request.
Yeah. And so that was one thing that I think would put you more in line with the other communities.
I think it would be a good idea
Cutlery
to
and
have
straws.
someone from, or have the president of the chamber come.
I think that would.
and
I do
meet.
think I guess I would say, I've been trying to kind of go through the chamber. I think we might be more effective to just go directly to the
I agree.
restaurants themselves.
I agree.
I'm dealing with somebody who's not a restaurateur,
Okay,
and
all
so I might just ask, 3 or 4 of they're an engaged group, and I think we could get them to come.
Could we, yeah, and if we could get, have some of them kind of be the heroes of the community to say, we are going to agree to do this, follow this protocol, and help put the word out to the other businesses and say, hey, this is a good neighbor policy, this is a good island policy, this is a good, environmental policy, and we're going to help spearhead, to let the rest of the businesses know that they should get on board with it,
I mean, when somebody, you know, I mean,
to champion.
I drink water at my house all day and I don't have it, I don't drink it out of a
Yeah.
straw. And then I go to a restaurant and they hand me a water with a straw. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I can do this without a straw,
Yeah.
perfectly fine.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like,
Straw.
mixed drinks I get,
like
I kinda, because you need, but they could use those little wooden stirrers like you do for your coffee. I mean, there's other options
Right.
that are
But if we
not.
currently prohibit it, what was our intent to enforce? How did we envision enforcing that?
Yeah, I don't know if it was recyclable at the time.
Mhm.
That is kind of the loophole. If it's recyclable, it's okay. And I don't recall back in that time if it was recyclable, and that's why this kind of glitch is in there.
Mhm.
I don't know. And it might be that they just intended for it to be biodegradable. I mean, biodegradable would also be okay. You know, paper or the wooden utensils or one of those options would be okay under our current code, but it's the plastic that's not recyclable that's getting used and prohibited.
Mhm.
And maybe, you know, that could be an option, just enforcing, just say, hey, this is the law of the land, you can't use it. You have to pivot to something else. That would be the alternative.
And we could do like education on how to drink without a straw. Katie can lead the class.
And how to eat without
I'm
utensils.
happy to show you, works really well.
How to eat without utensils. I
But yeah,
like
that does bring up a point of, you know, how can it be enforced? You know, is there a, you know, do they get a fine if?
Yeah, I mean, the
Yeah.
single use,
Okay.
the plastic bag ban, I mean, the police department literally has millimeter, they have the ability to measure the thickness of your bags to enforce that.
Okay,
So it would be a matter of, you know, going restaurant to restaurant.
Restaurant to restaurant.
And
And that's
enforcing.
become, you know, I think back on when that was going through, and that was a big, huge deal, and now it's like, everyone's used to getting paper bags.
Yeah.
You know, it's just such
This is
an,
what we
That's the way
do.
it is.
Yeah.
It won't make our police chief happy to become the knife and fork
Police.
but it is, I mean, that's
all right.
how it works.
Maybe
Well,
during the
then-
off-season.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, then I would like to recommend that we do have at least, you know, one or two of the main businesses.
If one of you
owners.
can think of the champion, and I can
Who
tell
would
you.
be the champion?
In my mind, thinking of those personalities, they're a champion of, you know, kind of environmental efforts doesn't shoot to my mind. If one of you all know one, let me know, but.
And I think the biggest abusers would be people who get lunch and go to the beach, or breakfast and go to the beach, right? It would be, can I name a business, or, I don't know if I can name a business, but.
Subway?
No, or like Froger or whatever, you know, you go and they have all the straws of the Froger, or you get a sandwich and you open it up and it's got the, you know, silverware and the straws. It's where people are grabbing food to go to the beach. I don't think it's your, you know, Long Island Cafe or more evening establishments.
Or the refuge.
Right.
Yeah, kind of to-go sandwich
Yeah.
type places.
Maybe our bagel guy will be a champion. I'll talk to them.
Who?
The bagel.
Joey's,
Yeah.
or what's it called?
Jeff's.
Jeff's Bagel, Joey's.
Oh, Jeff's Bagel.
Yes.
Just
Sorry,
Jeff's
Jeff.
Bagel Run?
Jeff's Bagel Run, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe they would be a champion.
They use wooden, their spoons are, excuse me, or their knives are wooden. I noticed that recently. So I don't know about, I never gotten anything from there that would come in a straw because I drink coffee. But
Didn't the president say you can't outlaw plastic straws? I don't know. In the state of Massachusetts,
I
they
would
were.
not be surprised.
They were banned, and it was all paper. And then he came out with something that said you can't ban them, and
I'm
now
not sure
they're,
that
and
the
now they're back.
Constitution allows for that, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do you want me to invite a handful of restaurant folks to
Owners.
your next meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell them to bring food, please.
You know, actually, going back to the, you know, the large trash. The one on developing a plan to increase awareness of challenges and solutions that includes do no harm messaging for residents, visitors, developers, and businesses. And we talked about doing the Wild Dunes Good Neighbor brochure to see if we could repurpose it. That could be another way to put out the message about not leaving the large trash items on the beach.
Who was tasked with getting that, a copy of that? Was that me? Did I drop the ball?
Did Eric, I don't have.
Did I
no-
volunteer Cindy to do that? I can't remember.
Probably because,
Volunteered me
I
and
think
you
I may have.
volunteered.
Yeah.
Okay.
do you think for next
Paige,
time?
it's the thing Paige did on the Wild Dunes Community Association.
Oh, yeah, the
The-
good neighbor thing.
Yeah.
The Wild Dunes Way.
The Wild Dudes Way.
Yeah, we wanted to get a
I don't know
copy of
name,
that.
But, yeah.
Do you already have a copy of
Oh,
that?
I thought, did I send you guys that? Yeah, it's on their website. I will
It's-
send
Oh,
it.
you did that? Okay,
Yeah.
that's right. So we do have access to it because
Yeah.
it's on the
I could
website.
pull it up. It's on the website, but if you want me to send you a screenshot or
That's
something,
okay.
I can
I'll
do
I'll
that.
look it up. If we could print it off in plastic, laminate it, and hand it out to
Yeah.
people to take to the beach and let it blow around, that would be wonderful. No, that's a joke.
And then it dissolves when it hits the water.
Right.
It's QR code, and you can drill down at each
Yeah.
of the topics,
Okay.
kind of like
Yes.
the Folly Beach thing, where you
Yeah.
go on a topic and you can go into lots of levels, which is
That's,
nice.
that's what I've got, and that's actually for the sustainability bucket list.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's down in our new business. I wanted to bring that up.
So are we still on Matrix? Have we hit all the highlights?
Can we get, I know we're working on like keeping this thing up to date and everything, but like on the website, so that like it would, like, even if we could connect, have things that people could click on to see, like if something's actually in the process of being worked on.
So we have talked about how to do this internally. Right now, on the website, there is a static matrix. And it does have kind of an original status. Internally, through each of these meetings at each group, that each group is getting their own kind of updated version of the matrix that's assigned to them. And it's changing kind of daily, weekly with the meetings. So what we were planning to do was to get kind of, several months of modifications under our belt, then go back to the environmental advisory, because the community enrichment group, because they also wanted to do kind of follow-up meetings, present this kind of patchwork of a matrix, go through it all, and then at that point, update the one that's on the city's webpage. The one that we're maintaining.
Because I just think
is-
it'd be really cool if people, if you could see like, here's the ideas for the toy bins on the beach, like, and then you could have a link and they could click on it and see like, oh, this is what we're
Yes, so
planning to do.
We have just a working Excel spreadsheet, and it's getting a little bit, because Eric's kind of working on one, we have the kind of master plan, but it's changing weekly. And our website doesn't host we could have kind of a link to the page, a link to that to that Excel spreadsheet, but it's not nearly as kind of polished as the permanent
Yeah.
stationary one that's currently on the website.
Is that-
It's a little bit of a working document,
So
not,
the website clean static version, is that like a quarterly update? Is that kind of the cadence you're thinking?
yes, that's
Okay.
what, maybe, it's been more than 3 months.
Okay.
Well, I think we're now over 6 months since it's been out, so we're
Yeah.
coming up on needing to do, but yeah, I think maybe not quite quarterly.
And who's responsible for making those updates to the website?
Well, so Amy literally does the matrix, the Excel spreadsheet. It then would go to Chandra, who is the website person. I'm kind of overseeing the status, so it's a shared effort.
Kind of a group
between-
effort.
It's a group effort
Okay.
from all of us.
So Todd, the Wild Dunes Way.
Yeah, I actually saw this.
Be
I did see
safe, be
this.
neighborly, be kind to animals. And then
Yeah.
you can click on it and it gives you like all the rules and.
Yeah, I saw that. I
yeah.
was trying to figure out how you could do that in print with the layering that's built in. It's really cool, but if you were trying to do that on a sign, it would be a little,
Unless you had the QR codes
QR
though, so
code,
you
and then
could do
you could go
QR
drill
codes
down.
to get more detail.
yeah.
Does it have something to click on about, trash, beach trash?
I just let it go, but I think it,
About what?
I think it's part of Be Neighborly.
What's the website, Wild Dunes?
It's Wild Dunes owners, so maybe that's why it's harder to get
Yeah.
into.
And what's it called again? Wild Dunes,
The Wild Dunes Way,
the Wild Dunes Way?
which is kind of an odd name, but, it's under rules.
It's at the
Rules,
bottom.
the Wild Dunes
Maybe
Way.
Right there, all the way to the bottom.
Stay on the
Yeah,
paths,
There it
e-bikes,
is.
roads and
It's got it on the
traffic.
It's up on the
Oh,
screen.
you got it, good.
Okay.
I clicked on trash and this is what it,
Pick up and secure your trash, just talks about trash pickup, beach rolls.
Mhm.
Don't forget your toys.
Is there a way that we could repurpose this to have something like this on the website under the EAC committee? And then also potentially have some kind of a handout that we could give out to the rental property companies to give out to people that are, when they're checking in?
I think this is broader than environmental, what this is. I think, because it gets into some
Because
of
it
the
impacts other areas.
It's safe.
Well, I mean,
safety,
do we, I
noise.
mean, we could not everything, but a lot of this and repurpose it so that it could be,
We could like.
Part of the
Provide
EAC.
the content that the EAC would want to have in there. But
Yeah,
I think it's
yeah.
actually on the matrix is to do, I thought I saw something in the matrix to do this type of a refresh, because we have the Isle of Palms has a STR document that goes, it's supposed to be displayed in your unit for visitors that has some of the, kind of the basic rules. I think the idea was to refresh that. Am I remembering this correctly, Douglas, or am I making this up?
I believe so, it's down,
Yeah, in the matrix,
number 40, number 113 is right here, I've got it highlighted,
I need my glasses, what does it say?
right?
Right, QR codes and city signage required messaging for STRs that direct visitors to environmental rules and best practices.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's,
Eric doesn't have that on our list. But,
well, I don't think it's, that's why I said, I don't think it's just environmental advisory committee. I think a significant amount of the content might be from this committee, but there's a broader, how to, it's sort of, we talked about like a respect to locals or, be a good neighbor or whatever, but, just, it's more broad than just the environment. But environment's probably got a lot of key elements to it.
Laura, and the reason it's running on that list is because didn't Sean and Cindy and Eric all met and kind of prioritized
Right,
stuff
right.
like that? So it's somewhere else on the list, it just didn't make it,
it just
didn't
hasn't,
bubble to the top.
it hasn't bubbled to the
Yeah,
top
actually
yet.
does
Okay.
list us.
It wasn't
as
on
the
our
owner.
easy list.
Right.
It's gonna take a little more
And
work.
there is one line item on there, on the matrix, that says more local promotions with links, QR codes pointing to IOP.net beach rules.
Which is what we had talked
And then tie-ins with the beach shuttle.
shuttle. So that, yeah.
And this, Terry agreed to put this in all the hotel rooms and rentals, and so there's a paper copy, but then it directs you to a QR code.
Okay,
So some of this is done.
That's great.
We can
yeah, that's
lift
great.
it.
Copy.
Yeah.
I mean, do we want to do something specific to the rest of, the rest of the island in general, or?
I mean, I think that's what that item on the matrix is,
Yeah,
right? I think
right.
we do. It's when do we do it? Is it a priority now or later? But
I think it would be good to work on it so that it would be ready for next season.
I'd love to see that. I don't know.
Who's raising their hand? To work with Chandra on doing this.
Is that the provide the QR code one?
Well, I think it's to develop an actual new web, and I do think it's very similar to,
No, I mean, which matrix one am I adding this to the status, like,
oh,
is that 113?
yeah, and the one in
113.
the packet is Eric's, and yeah, it's probably 113.
It is
Well, there.
113. And Eric said he would do this.
I'm happy to work on this too.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay. 'Cause Eric's not here to defend himself.
Because just Paige who did this.
Okay, so Cindy,
Yeah.
you're gonna, okay, all right.
And is this on
So
like
what's
one
my
page?
action item? I meet with Chandra.
Yes, so I think I'm understanding the action item to work to develop a page under the EAC tab on the city's website that includes EAC initiatives.
We already have it.
Yeah, I keep saying that.
It's not in a, I don't think it's in a, what I guess I'm not maybe crystal clear, but this is also in your packet, to look at the Folly Beach, what is it called?
Sustainability, it's called the
That's the
sustainability.
thing in new
The
business.
bucket list.
Bucket
Yeah, so
list,
kind of
yeah.
next on your agenda is to look at what they're doing, and I think I'm hearing a similar
Yeah.
project described for this group.
Yeah,
And that would be the action item, creating a similar page.
It's listed under the Environmental Advisory Committee, but I think, at least what we had talked about in the few meetings ago, was broader than just EAC. So I think putting it under EAC almost is not the right place. Like, don't shoot fireworks off on the beach. Is that an EAC thing? That's a public safety thing, right? I think that's in the Wild Dunes way.
It's safe, neighborly, and be kind to nature.
Right.
And all the be kind to nature is definitely AC.
Right.
But the other ones are questionable.
Yeah.
Trash.
Traffic, don't park where there's not a park, don't park in the no parking zones or whatever. Like, there's some things like that that in theory, and the idea was this is a consolidated, how do you come visit this island, and without reading our entire code of ordinances, how can you understand what's expected of you? It's sort of a nice, clean summary of, what matters the most. That was, I think, the idea, and that's what it looks like Wild Dunes has done a good job with.
so this would be something you could see more under just the IOP.net
Yeah.
site.
Mhm.
And then we could potentially do something like this
And
that speaks specifically to sustainability, which has
Right.
been a,
And that's.
develop a public education program on resilience strategies or sustainability.
Yeah.
And this could go under the EAC,
Yes.
something like this. Okay, yeah.
Yes. And there
That's
could be.
residents. I think that's more residents. This is residents and visitors.
Correct, I agree.
Right, right.
And there could be some overlap, but again, that summary, just if you're coming in and you just want to get a brief overview of like what's cool and not cool, then here's, go look at this brochure. If you don't want to go to the website and read everything, that's okay.
But you think that would be the local promotions with links and QR codes? Pointing to IOP.net beach rules, including the tie-ins with beach shuttle?
So I guess I would
Or,
think that the first, step one would be to create the page. Once you have the
Yeah,
page with
yeah,
all the
right,
stuff, then we
right.
could start kind
can
of distribute, we can.
expand.
Yeah, and we can put the QR code in future places where we think it would be helpful, maybe on the trash can enclosures.
Yeah, we
and
could- that would
Once
be
the
our-
page is
Island Eye,
out
like
and
people who are
developed.
reading like the local paper.
yeah, okay. So the first thing is to develop.
Develop
Yeah, right, mm-hmm.
the page.
Along the lines of this, right, but more targeted to environmental? Is that what we're saying?
No, we're going to have two different initiatives. One is going to be more just city-oriented,
Okay,
and,
so it's broader than environmental. It
And
can also
then-
be safety.
yeah.
Okay.
Right,
Why doesn't this group house the environmental part of it? Don't get into the,
The broader
safety,
part.
yeah,
public,
the
okay,
short-term
okay.
mental safety stuff. So maybe a page housed on the EAC tab, which you already have, that would be like the landing spot for a QR code. If and when we have places we want to link people to, we'd have that landing spot for them. So they could go and then they'd have different options. to
So it
go.
sort of becomes the homepage for the environmental initiatives
Right.
Yeah.
subsection of the website. Yeah, okay, I like that.
So Cindy and Chandra will
Yeah.
work on that.
And anyone else who's creative,
Yeah, I will help you with that if you'll take point on it.
because it needs some marketing buzz, I think, to direct people there.
You build it, they will come. So you're going to build it, and then we're going to get people to start coming.
Track
There
clicks.
has to be something fun to make them come, though. There can't be rules. I don't know how many people
Yeah,
like, you know.
right.
Yeah.
Got to
Look
be.
at
So do you-
rules.
No
Free
preaching.
stuff.
I actually, so I see this Folly Beach sustainability, and this is on their, it's on the Folly Beach website, and it's on the side under sustainability, and you click on it, and this comes up. And to me, that could go towards the fourth one
Develop
on our
public
current
education.
matrix, develop a public education program on resilient
Yeah,
strategies.
I think so, too.
So that ties, and I don't know
That
which one.
ties.
I don't know which one. Eric's doesn't have the numbers, but I would.
Yeah, I don't know
agree.
what number that is.
So number
But
4 on our list.
On our list, yeah.
Ties to whatever that one was.
Because, composting, single-use plastic, the Sea Rise project, and that's what we're going to hear more about next month, and Todd has agreed to help with that project. Native plants, and that comes up, there's like 3 different that are, to me, kind of redundant about, understanding, protecting our natural environment, native plants, do more native plantings, increase native plants on residential and commercial properties, living shorelines, wildlife, all of this, to me, goes with that public education program on resilient strategies. And we had to explore how to use the website to promote and educate, and we were specifically talking about the sea level rise adaptation plan, but to me, it could include that and all of these other buckets. I know we've kind of.
You really have, to your point, Laura, you have increase awareness to the Do No Harm campaign.
Right,
You have educate owners of septic systems. You have, so you really could kind of tie 3, 4 of these into this one
yeah.
landing page.
Into this
and
one
it'd be-
landing page, yeah. The encourage to provide incentives for residents, businesses to increase native plants on residential, commercial properties. And the one right after that is more programming focused on understanding and protecting our natural environment. Native plant, beach, salt marsh, waterways, native plants, native endangered species, and that's all even part of these buckets. So we could knock off, 3 or 4 of our matrix line items with something
It starts there,
like this.
Do you have the numbers of those lines?
If I number Eric's, it's number,
No.
it's number 4, 5, and 13 on Eric's. We can,
Okay,
The blue ones and then down
Yeah.
to the white.
and combine those 3 and say underneath the,
yeah, we're going to combine 4 and 5 into number 13. And Cindy, Chandra, and Todd are going to work on that one, those 3.
Okay.
Well, and there's also another one towards the bottom, the second from the bottom, about guidance from local experts to emphasize native plants
Yeah, I
and
mean,
gardens at city parks and properties, so.
Tie that in.
yes.
tie that one into, yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I felt there was definitely some redundance.
So that's 18 in our list.
okay.
So.
And
4,
Eric's
5
list.
In Eric's list. I'm
In
sorry.
Eric's list,
In Eric's
yeah.
list, so we'll have to,
So what were those again? It was 4,
on our list, it's 4, 5, 13, and 18 in Eric's list.
Okay,
We'll
you'll
Yeah,
give me.
we can, she'll.
do the conversion, right.
Yeah,
And then we'll
okay.
have one list.
so
Yeah.
that implies a lot of content behind those boxes. So it-
It's at least 5 boxes.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
probably more.
can you just send me a list again of the boxes? So you wouldn't want to do these boxes plus more? You wouldn't do the same as Folly Beach? Because some of those are
Folly's
really
got
good.
9 boxes. Sounds
Folly's
like we
got
already
9.
have, we have 5.
I thought you would add 5 to this. You wouldn't do Sea Rise, since we're talking about that.
Sea
Well,
Rise is on there.
Sea Rise
is on your
project is-
landing page already.
All right.
is on our landing, the
Yes.
IOP?
Yeah, on your, and you do already have a landing page for this group, and it's got, it has your, it has a lot of what you've worked on, you know, the native plants, sea level rise plan.
A lot of the content's there, we just need to follow it up
Tie
to
it
somewhere.
together.
Yeah.
Native plants, septic, was that one? Sea rise?
I'd have to,
It's on there, septic do's and don'ts is on there.
Okay, so
Yeah.
take what's already there.
Yeah, I
build the
think we can start with
content.
that.
And then merge,
that's a much tidier format.
Yeah, this is a much
Ours is
tighter.
kind of just a
Yeah.
bunch of words.
Yeah.
yeah.
I wanted to talk to Chandra about what we can do in terms of graphics and layout like that,
Yeah.
making them
Yes.
interactive.
Yeah.
Because this is much more appealing.
Yes.
We had some
Yeah.
challenges before, but they just did a redo on the website, the technology was all
Yeah.
changed, so it's, I think we could probably do this now, we couldn't then.
And frankly, this was something, so I'm, Jenna Stevens, who is with the city of Foley and works with sustainability. We're working on trying to get a meeting to collaborate. And again, there's no reason to recreate a wheel if there's a really great idea. So
We'll
I'm,
be a little limited to the web architecture, which is what Todd was kind of referencing. So
yeah,
that's where Chandra will be key.
will be key.
to kind of
Okay, all right,
telling us what she can and can't do in terms of the
okay,
layout of the page.
all right.
And Cindy, I worked through this with her last round, so I kind
Yeah,
of,
okay.
we've got a little bit of,
So it's this, and then there's also the visitors, be a good environmental steward piece.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
two different pieces.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Great. All right, so hopefully we'll have some updates then for next month, and just, let me
Yeah.
and Douglas and Nicole know for the agenda. We actually have we've kind of skipped to some of the new business with this, but is everybody okay right now with the matrix and what we've, I think we've got,
Progress?
I think we're making progress. I'm really pleased. So I think we should go back up to old business. And we need to have
Recycling?
the contract with Fisher Glass Recycling.
Yeah, I would just give a quick update. I forwarded an email to all of you from
Jim Smiley.
Jim Smiley. And if I summarized his email, it would be that at the end of the day, Fisher Recycling and the county recycling are taking the materials to the same location in the Georgia processing plant. Fisher has indicated that they are pulling out the pretty pieces of glass, they're using them for countertops, which they told us they were doing, and they showed examples of that material. So don't doubt that that's true. We then kind of forwarded that information to Belvin Olasov, who was originally on this committee, and very tied into that project, that process, and the environmental kind of groups in Charleston. He did a little bit of digging, and I think he has basically confirmed that all of what Dr. Smiley has said is true and correct. The only kind of exception that I would say that he had to it was that Fisher Recycling is either recycling or reusing 100% of what they collect. It's where he feels like Charleston County, through their process, because it's a single stream process, there's some loss of material there. He didn't know the percentage of loss, and he said that it sounded like next week he could kind of get a feel for that. Are you losing 30% of the material? I mean, if we wanted to get his kind of.
Is it Belvin? When you say him, you're talking Belvin?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
If we really wanted to drill down and get estimates on like the tonnage that the county is recycling for us, and then the tonnage that they're losing by percentage, compare that to and we could probably kind of compare
Do we,
the quantity that's getting.
we
that's getting-
pay county
Fisher.
recycling how? What do we?
Taxes.
It's taxes.
So what, is it a flat fee for, or is
Yes.
it, it's
Yeah.
not based on how much
That is
tonnage
correct.
they're
No, it's
taking
a-
from us?
That's
It's-
correct.
Because that's.
Trash, we pay
Okay.
by tonnage.
'Cause that's my thing, because the recycling, or the glass weighs a ton.
Yeah.
So if we are giving them less glass, we're giving them less weight. But if
No,
we're not
we're paying
reaping a
flat
benefit
fee.
from that, then I guess that doesn't really matter.
That's correct. Paying a flat fee per household for that service.
There was also, if I recall from last year's conversation, maybe it was the year before that, but there's some, it's not really seasonality, but it's a little cyclical, like the recycling, like the amount that gets recycled and how efficient it is seems to evolve or shift over time.
Well, that was part of the discussion, again, kind of a year ago.
Right.
Yeah, that was last year.
And Matt Sims, when he was here, kind of did some research into the county's operations. They confirmed that they were not any longer putting, so if to go back kind of 3-4 years when we started this, at that time, the county was saying, we're reusing the material, we're putting it into the road beds.
Right.
So we're crushing it, putting it into the road beds of the landfill. They would then cover it up, so it, in effect, was going into the landfill at the end of the day. So that was their process when the city started with Fisher Recycling. They have since that time stopped that process. When this group last talked about it, there was a little bit of a concern that right now the market is such that we're not doing it in road beds, but we don't know if we'll need to go back. We'll just go back kind of without much, announcement or anything else. So part of the discussion that I recall was we've now changed behavior a bit to have people using these Fisher cans.
Right.
If we go away from it and we kind of cut ties with Fisher, those cans go away, it'll be very challenging to reestablish that behavior. So we couldn't kind of flip the switch with Fisher realistically if the county starts flipping their switch with putting it back into road beds. So that was part of the thinking for the EAC at the time, was to continue with Fisher. Okay, let's see what the county does. Will they go back to putting it into road beds? I don't think they have. It seems as though, I think they've now not been putting it into road beds for a couple of years. So I don't know if we're at a point that we feel confident that we're okay cutting ties with Fisher. In the grand scheme of things, it is $10,000 a year. It's not $10,000, but it's not a huge amount of money in the relation to the city's budget. So maybe this group wants to wait to see what Belvin reports back. This all kind of has been happening. An email from Mr. Smiley suggesting that we go visit the facilities.
Yeah.
A response from Belvin, today, this afternoon. So maybe it's a little, maybe we take a month, kind of look deeper into it, come back next month, make a decision, make a recommendation. I don't think Fisher's agreement with us is technically up in October. I feel sure they'll do it month to month if we ask them to do it for another.
Could we negotiate a different
That's what
rate?
I was
Because if they're, it seems like over time it becomes, they're getting a benefit, right? We're filtering glass and packaging it up and making it very easy for them to pick it up. Maybe they would do it for $5,000 now, or maybe they do it for free now because, they're getting
certainly
so much
ask.
glass.
In the meantime, I will also say, I've asked Fisher Recycling to provide kind of their response to Mr. Smiley's.
Yeah.
Haven't gotten that. I asked Fisher to come here. They weren't available. So maybe we give them another month to give an opportunity
Yeah.
to come here if they can and provide a response. And we could certainly, I can ask them beforehand if there's any possibility that their rate could be reduced.
Yeah.
So, the justification was originally the fact that it's not getting.
Right.
What
It's
we're
going
saying
into
in
the
Charleston
It's-
County is not
They're
getting
not
recycled.
recycling them,
And
but,
and for a long time, they were saying that they weren't recycling glass because it was too cumbersome and too expensive. But now I guess there's a facility in Georgia that wants it, so they're paying, I'm sure that they paying Charleston County for that glass and Fisher too.
Right.
So recycling works when people make money off of the
Right.
recycled materials.
Right.
well, and if I can step back even further from today, the email that came through. So the original email that Jim sent to me, and I don't know if he CC'd you on it, Douglas, was it was regarding Fisher and the fact that the city spends $10,000 a year on the glass recycling, and yet we are not doing anything about the aluminum can recycling for the beach. And I don't have an answer, and he wanted the EAC to come up with some recommendations for a way to recycle aluminum cans from the beach. And clearly, having the bins for aluminum where the glass isn't going to handle the beach issue. And I don't have a clear-cut answer, because just like we know with the toy bins that end up with garbage that is not toy-related, my understanding is that if things other than the aluminum end up in the recycle bin, especially if it's dog poop or something like that, then it all ends up in the landfill because they can't recycle it properly. Am I
That's
correct with
And
that?
And the city actually went through the process of adding blue barrels to recycle on the beach. And
Specific,
And
it had a hole, did it have like a hole in the top?
No.
it was
They were open.
it was identical to the yellow cans,
Oh,
but they
okay.
were blue and they were recycling.
But it
But
said
Because-
recyclable.
Because I saw at Harris Teeter at Bell Hall, and they have a corral, and they have, garbage and then recyclable, and their bins have, for the recyclable, have a hole on the top. Now, I still don't know if that would prohibit people from putting stuff that's not aluminum into them.
Well, the whole
but-
point of Charleston County is you don't have to separate. So it doesn't matter, aluminum, plastic, glass, whatever.
It should
all-
be
It all
okay?
goes, yeah.
It should be okay?
That's the whole
All
point of
right.
Charleston Counties, you do not have to, nothing has to be separated. So
Mm-hmm.
now you're not supposed to put plastic bags. because
Right,
that's supposed to
right.
mess us
And
with
food,
machinery,
and
but
food.
Obviously, but
And-
the beach should be exactly the same as it is at our houses. Unfortunately, it's just the fact that,
People don't follow
Right.
the rules.
Yeah,
And I
during
don't-
that process, it all was contaminated. So we went through the process, converting to it, having it run, having it operated. Everything that we got back was contaminated and unable to be recycled.
Be recycled.
And I don't know, and so that's the reason that effort just failed.
so you think even if you had coming off the beach, if you had a regular trash can and the standard blue recycling bin that we all have at our houses,
That it would be
people still would
I don't
mess it
think
up.
so, because it was very clear on the beach with the blue ones that it was for recyclable only.
But don't you have to wash them,
And-
if they contain food?
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, they were throwing everything in there. And it was clear that there was a difference between the two.
And that's why I'm wondering if there was a container with a, not open, or a lid that you could lift up, but a hole that really could only fit like a aluminum or a bottle, a
But
glass
they could still
bottle.
throw dog poop in there.
I know.
And they would.
So I don't have that was his original question to me and for the EAC was, could we come up with some kind of an alternative, and if there's $10,000 being put towards glass recycling, couldn't there be money put towards coming up with some kind of a proposal for aluminum can recycling on the beach? And I don't have an answer, so I'm putting it out there for the rest of the committee if anybody has, because I don't see a way to totally prohibit.
I don't know how we can change people's behavior.
No.
I know.
Yeah, the cost benefit, I don't think makes any sense, just because such a small number would comply.
We could spend $10,000 on new on bins, recyclable bins, and it wouldn't necessarily make a difference.
I mean, we can get the regular bins from the county.
Yeah, the
right?
only.
Yeah, the regular blue ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only
Then
kind
they
of
have to
it-
lift up the lid, and they're not gonna do that.
Yeah,
Well, you have to lift up the lid for the trash can too.
Well, they've cut they have cut the
Now-
little holes to try to minimize, to put a lid
Yeah.
generally on it, but to minimize the lifting it up. So they all do have the little hole in it.
So what happens when it rains?
It gets
They
rain
get-
in it.
They get
There's no
wet,
drainage
get heavy.
full of water.
The only, thing that I can think of that would potentially change is we are moving some of those to the roadside.
That's what I told him.
Building the corrals, we
Yeah.
can build the corral, we could build a handful of the corrals big enough to hold the blue cans. We would then have to have somebody roll the can out for collection, but I think if we had a blue can there and a corral, somebody rolled it out on collection day, it potentially, I don't know what I'm guessing that can would be completely contaminated and cause problems, but we could maybe
Do a
try it.
trial.
Again,
Do a trial
like we're
with a
talking about the
handful.
toy bin, do a trial.
A handful of blue cans
Yeah.
in a corral, see if it, see what the contamination level
Yeah.
is. And I don't know if it's mixed with an entire truckload of the household material that's clean. I don't know what the county does with that. I don't know if it contaminates the entire truck. I don't know.
I've seen a mesh, like a trailer that's got mesh fencing around it, and it's open on the top, and like at the ballparks and stuff, and it says aluminum cans only, and people, toss them in there. It's visible what's in there, so if you're throwing stuff in, people can see it, so it's a little bit, it seems to work. I don't know if that's just because people at the ballparks behave differently than people at the beach, I don't know,
I
but,
mean, Charleston County they deal with that.
yeah.
That's
Everybody's cans.
all of their recycling. I mean, I see countless people that still put their recycling in plastic bags. I mean,
Right.
that's just something that they deal, I mean, that's part of the county recycling's job. That's not our job to fix, and I don't think we're going to.
That's a good point.
I would say we have just the same exact recycling that we have at our houses. Maybe try to educate people and let the county sort it out. I mean, that's what they do.
There would be an expense to the city, I think, to roll it out. There are third parties that are in the business of rolling those bins out. I don't know what that cost would be, but
Well,
maybe that's the
If
10,000.
That's, yeah, exactly. If we find that we are not going to move forward with Fisher with the glass, and we have the money,
Maybe we
we-
roll back $10,000 worth of blue cans at some of the
yes,
new,
at some of the
new corrals.
I like
new
that.
corral locations at the street side, yeah.
And exactly what Katie said, hold Charleston County accountable, leverage what they do, and hold them accountable to do what they do, as opposed to trying to do it for them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
So how do you feel about, do you want to do that? Do you want to sit on it for
Well,
a month?
I want to get the information
Okay.
from Belvin and.
So sit,
and
kind
see.
of put it on next month.
Yeah,
We'll
but-
work on,
We can let Mr. Smalley know that we are working on something. I'll be happy to email him back and say, we did discuss it at the meeting this month, and we are going to consider some options, and we're not ignoring you.
yeah.
And do we know the frequency with how often Fisher
Picks up?
the glass?
I think it's twice a week.
Because what I've noticed is the restaurants utilize that very heavily with their wine bottles. So if that goes away, and then you have your normal recycling that's every other week, I don't know what they do with the
Maybe
excess.
because, you think it's because of the frequency? Their own recycling would get too much
Yes.
because
I
it doesn't
think
come
that's
in every
something
2
to
weeks.
consider.
We have our restaurant people come, we should ask that, talk about that too, that
Yeah,
would be
that's a
interesting.
good idea.
Yeah.
So why is recycling every other week? Like, I find that I have as much recycle as I have trash.
Because we don't have as many visitors on the island.
Well,
During the
so
off-season.
During the
the entire
off-season.
county, though, is every other week.
It's
Yeah.
every other week.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
they make an exception for us to be every week just
During
during
the
season.
During season,
Follow
yeah.
the same way.
Yeah.
They do it.
West Ashley is every other, my house, it's
You have to
every
get
other
two
week.
bins, Cindy.
Yeah.
2 bins, okay. Because I find it's not enough, and then
You
I'm
can get a
like
second bin and
physically
pay for it,
taking
but-
Yeah.
it to
We're pretty full after 2
recycle.
weeks.
Okay. All right. So we're going to wait until next
Yep.
month? Okay.
Put that on for next
perfect.
month.
All right. So our next meeting will be on Thursday, October the 9th at 4 PM. And if I can get a motion for adjournment?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Any?
February 5, 26, that's all you need.
Okay.
No discussion?
I mean,
No discussion.
Never any no votes.
Approved.